The point I'm trying to make, Mr. Gurumurthy, is that your generation and to some extent my generation, we know, your generation knows a lot more, my generation knows a little less about the truth of what happened during and in the lead up to the Babri Masjid demolition. My concern is, Mr. Gurumurthy, the generation younger to me, right, the cellular phone generation does not know enough about what happened. And there is the attempt to always portray Hindus as the aggressors. Even today before the Pran Pratishtha, people are writing articles saying, don't take part, Hindus are the aggressors, Hindus have done injustice. And in today's social media age, where everything you consume on these apps becomes some kind of a gospel truth, there is an amnesia towards the active machinery that was at work to frustrate, trigger and agitate the Hindus. I hold a view, Mr. Gurumurthy, that the Hindus were very patient, and I just want to share with you a little bit for our viewers the specifics of the struggle and then get you to comment on it. So I want you to take you back to 1992, Mr. Gurumurthy, to a moment of absolute betrayal in my view. If you look at the timeline, on 22nd July 1992, the Supreme Court had said it will consolidate the cases and refer the issue to whether a mandir can be constructed to a larger bench for day-to-day hearings if the UP government agrees to stop the construction. Then Advani and Vajpayee nudged the Prime Minister and said, meet the sadhus and the sons. The next day, the Prime Minister meets the sons through a one-on-one dialogue. Due to the Prime Minister's appeal, they agree to stop the construction so that the dispute can be resolved in a time-bound manner. No less than the then Prime Minister assures Ashok Singhal of the VHP that he will take personal interest and solve the problem in 3 months. The very next day, VHP stops the construction but says, if it is not resolved, we'll start again in October or November 1992. Then the Prime Minister changes the track. He withholds the talk of a 3-month deadline drawn when he speaks to the Lok Sabha. In his statement to the Lok Sabha, the Prime Minister does not speak one word on removing the hindrances in the way of the Kar Seva. And then, an icing on the cake of the insult to the Hindu sons, the Supreme Court also in August drops the offer to transfer the cases that it had indicated in July. So, if you look at the sum total, Hindus are being told, you will have your temple, we will find a way, we will resolve this. Then both the Supreme Court and the Prime Minister look in the other direction. So, I feel that Hindus were betrayed. Hindus were not the aggressors in the run-up to 1992. Am I right in my view that the run-up of events to 1992, even the last few months, Hindus were betrayed? And this led to a massive amount of instigation. Is my perspective correct on this?
I will explain it in 3 ways. One, the Hindus always suffered from what Karl Popper says as the paradox of tolerance. Tolerating the intolerance to the point of the tolerance itself being extinguished is the paradox of tolerance, which Karl Popper envisaged as early as 1945 for the liberal societies. The most liberal religion, the most liberal culture, the most liberal nation has been facing this paradox of tolerance for almost a millennium. So you must understand, the Hindus always felt that if they did something, they would be called intolerant by the intolerant people. So this is the source of the wrong discourse that manifested against Hindus and in favor of pseudo-secular politics. So you must understand, this is the philosophical foundation of pseudo-secularism, to make the Hindus feel guilty that they should not be called intolerant, that others are intolerant and it is their business to be intolerant, and it is for you to tolerate that intolerance was the foundation of Indian secularism. This is point one. Second, you must trace 3 events by which the 1992 demolition occurred. In 1989, the Shilanyas was announced, and Rajiv Gandhi government was carrying on a back-to-back conversation, dialogue with Muslims and the Hindus. And there Bhutta Singh was sent to negotiate with the Hindu saints that Shilanyas would be allowed. And Shilanyas was allowed. And Rajiv Gandhi began the 1989 poll battle in Ayodhya on the slogan of Ramarajya, because Ram Janmabhoomi movement had become so powerful, so pervasive, and cutting across all differences among the Hindus, that Congress did not want to lose the spirit of the Ram Temple movement to counter the Bofors allegation against Rajiv Gandhi. Is this not politics? Okay. Then after the Shilanyas occurred, then came the VP Singh government, of which I am one of the persons who could claim to be part of bringing it into being on behalf of the Indian Express. The Indian Express team worked to bring VP Singh into power. When he came, we thought he would take steps to resolve the problem, but he complicated it because his identity with the separatist Muslim sentiments was far stronger than the attachment of the Congress with them. With the result, Advani had to commence the Rath Yatra, which was the high point of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. I was involved in the negotiations at the time in the month of October, when Arun Jaitley and me suggested that a law be passed to acquire the 31 cents of land on which the disputed structure stands, and keep exit and entry for that, and leave the remaining places which had been acquired by the Ram Janmabhoomi Trust through the UP government for them to commence construction, and let this, whether there was a masjid or mosque, let it be decided by the Supreme Court by a reference for opinion under the Constitution. Then there was a discussion in which Goswami, who was the law minister, Arun Nehru, George Fernandez, myself, Govindacharya, Arun Jaitley participated, where they said there are 900 suits. How to refer for legal opinion? I said there is only one issue in that suit: who the title to the land belongs. That can be referred for legal opinion. It was accepted at 11:30 in the night. R. Venkatraman was spoken up, and this ordinance was issued. But at 3:30 in the morning, Mulayam Singh went and woke up VP Singh and said, I will pull your government down unless you withdraw the ordinance. At 4 o'clock in the morning, VC Pandey rang me up and said that the ordinance is being withdrawn. Please do something about it. 6 o'clock, I meet VP Singh. The ordinance is withdrawn. And Advani was arrested on that day. Can you believe that a government which took a decision to stop the movement getting escalated was forced on withdrawal mode by one man, only for Muslim votes? Is the second point. The third is the steps that Chandrasekhar government took. The most positive steps were taken by Chandrasekhar, who brought both sides and kept Sharad Pawar on the one side and Bhairav Singh Shekhawat on the other, and asked them to produce evidence. And they both sides produced evidence which proved that there was a temple which was demolished and mosque was constructed. The Muslim said, no, that is British period evidence. The British wanted to divide the Hindus and Muslims, and so they created it. We want pre-British evidence. 7 pre-British evidence of the Christian missionaries were produced to show that they knew that there was a temple which was demolished and a mosque was built. They said, no. We want an Islamic period reference. That the Muslims saying, yes, we demolished it. It was at that point, the entire documentation was secreted. The government did not release it because Chandrasekhar lost hope that it could be done. But Bhairav Singh Shekhawat gave me all these documents. We put it in the BJP white paper. If there is any true account of what happened till 1992, December 6th, it is the BJP white paper, which was very professionally done. And if I remember right, the Hindustan Times, comparing the government white paper and the BJP white paper, said that the BJP white paper is far more credible on facts than the government white paper. How? By prevarication, by delaying, by testing the patience, by making the emotive Hindus feel angry and upset. And when the Supreme Court said, no, you can do Karseva, but you cannot use any construction equipments, the opposition said, are you going to do puja? 3 lakh people had assembled for Karseva, and they were made into a laughing stock. And do you mean to say the ordinary Hindu will be able to maintain his patience and poise like a saint? They exploded. That is how 6th December took place. 6th December was an invitation. And you look at it in the background of what K.K. Muhammad, who was part of the 1976 excavation, wrote in his I Am Also Indian book in Malayalam, where he said, in 1990, the Muslims were willing to give up the Ram Janmabhoomi to the Hindus.